may not be the best time to spend on travel or extravagant items, but here's what it is an ideal time for: buying property. Property prices have declined and are expected to fall further. Added to this, there is an overhang of inventory. A recent ET article said that unsold housing stock in the top 8 Indian residential markets was at 7,23,060 units as on September 30, 2020. Some owners in Delhi's Lutyens zone are desperate enough to sell their homes at 50% of the pre-COVID price, according to property consultants and brokerage firms. Add to this the lure of low interest rates on home loans. Throw in the fact that we're entering the festive season, due to which builders and developers have launched various housing schemes, benefits and offers. We don't blame you if you are tempted to finally get that place you could call your own. In this video, I have with me Raj Khosla, founder and MD MyMoneyMantra.com, who will help us understand how a buyer can gain while buying property and shed light on the pitfalls to watch out for when it comes to real estate. So, national inventory overhang has increased to 43 months as of this quarter, compared to 28 months in the third quarter of 2019. Do you think home buyers, should not postpone their purchasing decisions anymore?
The short answer is, quite honestly, no. If I was a home buyer today, I would actually go out and pull the trigger, because you have a double benefit in terms of lowest ever rates of interest. I can't even remember in decades where home loan rates of interest have been as low as they are today. So and if you're thinking that something perhaps property prices are going to fall any further, it's a mug's game to predict the future. But if I was a guessing man, I would say prices are not falling anymore. Rates are the lowest. Rates of interest are as low as they can possibly be. So go right on ahead. In fact, there's a recent survey which says that 2/3 of the buyers today are waiting and watching. I would urge everyone to stop waiting, stop watching, go pull the trigger, buy your dream home if you can.
Is there room for a further correction in prices, according to you? And if yes, what factors could cause such a correction, and how will buyers benefit?
Well, again, quite honestly, my personal view, or my considered view, is that there's nothing further left to correct. You're down to bare bones, and so I don't think there's any correction in pricing that's coming through the door. What could make it happen? Maybe. Oh boy, I can't even think of what would make any further correction in prices happen, apart from perhaps a complete, collapse of currency. Maybe the economy went, down the tube so quickly that you could, before you could say Robinson Crusoe. Could be any of these really, really, wacky events, outlier events, which would say, okay, we are truly down in the dumps. In which case, I don't think you would be buying anything anyway. If you're considering buying a home, now's the time.
So would you say that from here on, there's only going to be recovery?
Well, here on, is there only going to be recovery? Again, looking into the crystal ball, a recovery is going to be slow. It isn't as if, the real estate was doing really well even before COVID. It isn't as if COVID came and jammed the real estate industry. They've been going slow now, regrettably, for many years. COVID only exacerbated the effects of that slowness. So I don't, if you, in terms of, is there going to be a recovery? Yeah, theoretically, at some point, sure, there's going to be a recovery. When that point is, not in the near future. But will it go down any further? No, I think it's my money is, and the pun is intended, my money is on the bet that, prices will remain constant the way they are. There's going to be a recovery. Yeah, in some distant future, not quickly, but the price is not crashing anytime soon either.
So in this COVID-led uncertainty, home loans, like you also said, they're unbelievably attractive, the rates. Is it a good idea to avail of these rates?
Absolutely. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. In the sense that, rates have never been lower. I can't see them getting down, any lower than where they are. So yes, go ahead and borrow. But slight word of caution here. Don't let overconfidence get the better of you, as it were. because at any given point in time, your EMI should not be more than 30-40% of your take home. And certainly do not factor in next year's raise or this year's bonus or such other item like that when you take out that loan, only because the rates of interest were low. So I took out a large loan. Work out on the EMI and see how much is it that you can afford to take in. Don't factor in any windfall gains, and then yes, do take advantage of the low rates of interest. I would say that. Yeah,
like you said, you mentioned a very interesting point. EMI should not be more than 30 to 40% of take-home pay. At this point, take-home pays itself are really hit and affected.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, they are.
what do you kind of do?
Well, I mean, don't borrow. If you don't have an income stream, I won't even say the decision is up to you, because if you're not able to establish an income stream, you're going to be hard pressed to find a lender. Which bank or NBFC is going to give you a loan if you're out of a job? So I'm not even going there.
Indians have traditionally been more biased towards real estate. So as an investment, do you think it scores over other asset classes, especially in this period of uncertainty?
Well, I don't think that one takes long-term decisions, with respect to, one event. I know we are going through a bad phase. Nothing's forever. Good times are not forever, bad times are not forever. And it'll be a matter of months that we'll come out of this particular, the pandemic. I'm sure we'll find a way to adjust to a new normal. So one wouldn't adjust, like the distribution of your wealth over different asset classes. You wouldn't take COVID into account to assess, how much goes into real estate, how much goes into gold, how much goes into shares and so on, and any other investments that you might have in mind or into, and you might want to take a punt on something. So that proportion, I don't think that the pandemic will determine what that proportion is. That is unique and individual, for each person, depending upon his risk-taking capacity or, his age or her long-term ambitions and so on. So having said that, I might also, add that, owning a home, there are a few things going for it, in the sense that in these troubled times, can you imagine, if you had to pay a huge rental or something like that, and there's some of us living in our own homes, it is a sense of security. There's no doubt about that. And in a somewhat longer term sense, always, if you're living in your own place, whether it is, it could be commercial, if you're occupying your commercial place or or a retail shop, you don't have to deal with, with a landlord and renegotiate rents and so on every now and then. It brings a sense of psychological security. And don't forget, purchase of property is something that you always tend to think in terms of leaving behind for succeeding generations. So yes, real estate is a good investment. We shouldn't go overboard on our asset allocation because of the pandemic.
Any other tips you'd have, or any other sort of watch outs you want to list, or kind of risks that you want to point out for home buyers?
Try and make it a reasonable proportion of your cash inflow when you're taking out a loan. Most importantly, check out all the fine print in terms of prepayment charges, whether they have been ideally there should be no prepayment charge. How quickly is a loan going to get repriced? If by any chance there's a further fall in rates of interest, and keep in mind the worst that could possibly happen, which is that if by any chance you're unable to meet your EMIs, what kind of relationship you have with your lender, because the lender can actually help you out in that time. So try and select a lender not only on what is today's cheapest rate, also on a holistic relationship that you might have with that lender, because it's a long-term relationship. It's going to be over 10-15 years depending upon how long your loan lasts. So make sure you have a stable lender, a bank that you borrow from, and take a holistic assessment of that relationship as opposed to purely based on the rates of interest.